Hi students, my name is Dr. B. Srinivasulu. Today I am going to explain the superconductivity and superconductors. So in this, first of all we are going to knowing the introduction or the relation between the resistance and conductivity. So resistance or resistivity is the inherent property which is exhibited by the materials. This is due to the scattering of electrons while interacting with the positive ions present in the materials. When the temperature of the materials is decreased to a low value, then scattering electrons decreases, and as a result the resistivity decreases, then conductivity increases. So this is the relation between resistance and the conductivity. If the resistance decreases, then the conductivity increases. So in this manner now we are going to discuss the superconductivity. So superconductivity is a phenomenon of attaining zero resistivity or infinitive conductivity at a low temperature is known as superconductivity. The materials becomes a superconductors and it will be in superconducting state, or this can be explained as certain metals or alloys exhibits almost zero resistivity when they cooled to sufficiently low temperature. This phenomenon is known as superconductivity. So the phenomenon of losing resistivity when sufficiently cooled to a very low temperature, so that phenomenon is known as superconductivity. So this superconductivity is observed with this graph. So when the temperature of the materials gradually decreases from maximum to minimum, so at a particular temperature the normal conductors are converted into the superconductors. Here we have to observe the two lines. One is non-superconductive metals and other one is superconducting metals. So coming to the non-superconductive metals, so in these metals when the temperature gradually increases, the resistivity is also increases. In the case of superconductors, when the temperature gradually decreases at a particular value, they lose their resistivity and becomes a superconductor. This particular temperature metals exhibits the normal state, metals become a superconductors. So this superconductivity phenomenon was first observed by the Kamerlingh once in the year of 1913. He got a Nobel Prize for the discovery of superconductivity in mercury. So Kamerlingh once measured the electrical conductivity of different metals. So suddenly the mercury shows almost zero resistivity at 4.2 Kelvin. So that is called critical temperature. So what is critical temperature means? The temperature at which the transition of the metals, the transition of the normal conductor into the superconductors occurs is called as the transition temperature or critical temperature. So the temperature at which the materials undergoes a transition from the normal state to superconducting state, the temperature is known as temperature or transition temperature. So this critical temperature was observed by the Kamerlingh once for the mercury at 4.2 Kelvin. So he measured the electrical conductivity of different metals. So among the all metals, the mercury shows almost zero resistivity at 4.2 Kelvin. So that the temperature is called critical temperature or transition temperature. So the critical temperature is not same for all metals. This value is varying with different metals. Above the critical temperature, the substance is normal state, but below the critical temperature, the substance is superconductor. Already I told that here. So above the critical temperature, this is superconducting state, Above the critical temperature, the substance is normal state, but below the critical temperature, the materials become superconductors. So this is superconducting state and this is normal conducting state. So that is for the semiconductors, the critical temperature varies from 0.2 Kelvin to 1.25 Kelvin. For metals, this value varies from 0.35 to 9.22 Kelvin. For the alloys, the critical temperature varies from 18.1 Kelvin to 22.65 kelvins. So this is the critical temperature, the temperature at which the materials undergoes a transition from the normal state to superconducting state. That particular temperature is known as critical temperature. So the graph is observed for the critical temperature and normal state. So this up to 0 from 0 to this temperature, all metals exhibits normal state. Beyond that temperature, the normals becomes it is superconducting state. Up to particular temperature, they exhibit superconducting state. Beyond that temperature, they exhibit the normal conducting state. So coming to the properties of general properties of superconductors. A superconductor is a low temperature phenomenon. A transition from the normal state to superconducting state occurs below a critical temperature. So the different metals will shows the different critical temperatures. The currents once set up in a superconductor, they persist for a long time due to the zero resistivity. Superconductors do not allow the magnetic lines of forces through them and behaves as a diamagnetic nature. This property of expulsion is known as Meissner effect. The magnetic field at which a superconductor loses its superconductivity and becomes a normal conductor is known as critical magnetic field. Critical magnetic field Hc is equal to H naught into 1 minus T by Tc whole square, where H naught is equal to field required to destroy the superconductivity at 0 Kelvin, and critical current density Jc is equal to Ic by A, and critical current Ic is equal to 2 pi r Hc. Superconductivity occurs in a metallic elements in which the number of valence electrons lies between 2 and 8 only. Superconductors are not a good conductors at the room temperature. So these are a few general properties of a superconductors. Next we are going to discuss the Meissner effect. So Meissner effect means we know that the superconductors will not allow the magnetic lines of forces and they behave as a diamagnetic nature. The property of repulsion or expulsion is known as Meissner effect. So for that, let us consider a normal conductor. This is normal conductor at the room temperature. When the magnetic field is subjected on the normal conductor, it allows the magnetic lines of forces like this. So the magnetic flux is formed. That magnetic flux is, we know that B is equal to mu naught into H plus M, where mu naught be the permeability of free space, H be the magnetic field and the M be the magnetization. When the entire system is cooled to be low temperature, then the normal conductor is converted into the superconductor. So this is the superconductor. So this superconductor will not allow the magnetic lines of forces to pass through it, but some magnetic lines are passed at the outside of the conductor only. So if there is no magnetic lines of forces, if there is no magnetic induction, so the magnetic induction becomes zero in an uniform magnetic field. In the first case, the resistivity becomes zero. So in the superconductors, the magnetic induction B is equal to 0. So therefore 0 is equal to mu naught into H plus M. So H is equal to minus M. That means the applied magnetic field is in the opposite direction or the magnetization in the opposite direction. We discussed in the magnetic materials diamagnetic nature. Due to the applied magnetic field, the magnetic materials are magnetized in the opposite direction of the applied magnetic field. Here also we can observe the magnetization is in the opposite direction of the applied magnetic field. So the applied magnetic field H is equal to minus capital M, that is magnetization. The susceptibility is negative. In the magnetic materials, the susceptibility is negative only for the diamagnetic materials. So by using this Meissner effect, we are going to prove the superconductors behaves as a diamagnetic nature, and this effect is called Meissner effect. And the superconducting material is placed in the magnetic field under the conditions when T is less than Tc, it is superconductor, and H is less than Hc. The flux lines are excluded from the material. Conditions for the material to be a superconductor: resistivity rho is equal to 0 and magnetic induction B is equal to 0. So this is the Meissner effect, and these are the applications of the Meissner effect. Here we are going to observe the magnetic levitation. So the diamagnetic nature of the superconductivity is known as Meissner effect. So this Meissner effect is observed here. Actually, when a metal strip is dropped on the surface of the superconductor, it repels like this. In second diagram we can observe that. So that is magnetic levitation. This magnetic levitation can be used in the high speed transportation. So this is one of the examples of the high speed transportation by using magnetic levitation. So the Meissner effect means when the superconductors will not allow the magnetic lines of forces and behaves as a diamagnetic nature, the property of expulsion is known as Meissner effect.